In Pet Sematary, everyone talks about the Micmac burial ground as if it were just a magical place, but it isn't. That land is a hunting ground. The soil didn't turn sour by accident. Something ancient corrupted it. When you step there, you're not asking for a miracle. You're entering the territory of something old. The cemetery doesn't call everyone. It waits for broken people, tired of losing, ready to cross a line that should never be crossed. And it knows exactly how to convince you. Before the Micmac burial ground, there is the first cemetery, the one for children and pets built to soften grief. A cross in the ground, a name on a sign, small everyday mourning. But the path continues. Further on, there's the deadfall, the barrier of logs, and beyond it, the real cemetery. What looks like a secret is actually an invitation. Whoever leads you there isn't saving you, they're handing you over. And the worst part is that you start believing the choice is yours. The shortcut feels like mercy, but it's a trap. The sour soil is the most honest warning in the book. That land isn't cursed, it's contaminated. Everything that comes back returns wrong, colder, emptier, more aggressive. This isn't a ritual gone wrong, it's the consequence of the place itself. Whatever corrupted that ground doesn't create life, it distorts it, then watches as you try to call that distortion love. Admitting the truth would break you. The deal is simple. It gives, then collects. Now the real legend. In Algonquian folklore, the Wendigo isn't just a forest monster. It's the spirit of extreme hunger, winter, desperation, and cannibalism. It is born when someone crosses an absolute moral line to survive. And the more it consumes, the hungrier it becomes. It's both punishment and warning. There is a point where a human becomes a shell, and the forest is said to recognize that change before anyone else. It's a warning, not a thrill. Hunger only grows. No mercy. In Pet Sematary, Stephen King takes that idea and twists the knife. The Wendigo doesn't feed only on flesh. It feeds on grief, denial, and the inability to accept death. It understands that humanity's deepest hunger is the hunger to undo endings. That's why it never forces anyone. It waits, it influences, it whispers possibilities until someone starts calling that whisper hope. And then the victim begins protecting the monster without realizing it. That's how it wins, quietly. The Wendigo's trick is simple and brilliant. It doesn't need to appear because its work happens inside the mind. The idea of fixing a loss starts small, almost innocent. Just one more chance. Just a better goodbye. Just one mistake undone. And when you realize what you're doing, you're already defending the indefensible. The monster never pushes anyone into the abyss. It builds a bridge, labels it love, and watches you cross. Starts as love, turns into obsession, and you miss when it flips. The forest around the Micmac burial ground isn't scenery, it's an extension. Silence weighs heavier, sounds lie, the path seems to shift. The closer you get to the hunting ground, the stranger reality feels, as if the world is holding its breath. Then comes the sensation. You're not alone. It's not fear of attack, it's fear of presence. Like something massive just passed by, indifferent, marking you. After that, the pull begins. You want to go back, like the woods planted a thought in you. When Lewis crosses the forest with Judd, the terror is entirely sensory. Branches breaking without wind, leaves moving as if something heavy stepped through. A rotten, damp smell that belongs to no animal. The temperature drops in a way that feels wrong. Then comes the moment the movies usually cut. The instant when you feel something pass close without ever showing itself. That's when you understand you're not going to a place. You're going to someone. Your senses do the seeing for you. In the book, Lewis feels the Wendigo. Not a cheap scare, something worse. Certainty. A cold, heavy, unnatural touch, like a shadow with weight. The sensation is of being brushed by something that isn't in a hurry, because it knows you're already on the path. In folklore, the Wendigo's touch alone is a curse. It doesn't need to kill. It only needs to contaminate. It's not a jump scare. It's a stamp. After that, grief stops being a feeling and becomes a plan, and the plan feels urgent. That contamination doesn't change someone instantly. It spreads slowly. Logic starts to fail. Bad decisions begin to feel reasonable. What's wrong starts to feel necessary. A person doesn't become a monster overnight. They become someone willing to pay any price to avoid facing the void. And that's the point. The Wendigo doesn't want bodies returning. It wants irreversible choices made with love, fear, and desperation mixed together. You don't wake up evil. You wake up convinced. Judd isn't a heroic guide. He's living proof of how evil spreads in King's universe. His knowledge is soaked in guilt, and guilt looks for company. He doesn't lead out of malice, but out of human weakness, that need to share pain. When Judd shows the path, he's passing on a burden he couldn't carry alone. And the Wendigo loves that. Good people doing terrible things and calling it kindness. That's what makes him terrifying. He's relatable. He isn't the monster, he's the messenger. From this point on, the trick is clear. The Wendigo doesn't need to chase anyone. It only needs the first return to work. One single moment of it worked opens space in the mind to negotiate with death. And once the negotiation starts, the house changes, not with scares but with atmosphere. A presence without soul, eyes without warmth, silence occupying space. The sour soil gives you exactly what you asked for, then charges you slowly until it becomes routine. And then you go back. And that's when Pet Sematary becomes a mirror. It's not about monsters, it's about the moment you think, I know this is wrong, but I'll try anyway. Tragedy is born from that sentence. Because loss hurts, and pain invents excuses. The Wendigo feeds on that minute, on choices made with love and despair intertwined. It doesn't want bodies, it wants permission. One becomes two, and the staircase only goes down. That sentence is the trapdoor. Once you say it, you're feeding it, not fighting it. If you look at the King verse, the forest is never just a backdrop. It's where the space between worlds presses against reality and whispers. Call it to dash, call it a fracture. The pattern is always the same. Different entities, different emotions, same method. Fear, grief, guilt all become fuel. The Wendigo is the perfect predator for adults, because adults carry real losses and decisions that never come back. Call it a thin spot, a crack. The label doesn't matter. The pattern does. So I'll ask you directly. If you had the power of the Micmac burial ground, would you resist or would you try to bring someone back, knowing nothing returns whole? Answer in the comments, because that's what King does. He doesn't ask if the cemetery works. He asks what you do when pain hits harder than reason. And when you answer, you may understand why the sour soil never needed to hunt. It only needed to wait. This story hurts because it asks what you'd do in your worst hour.